Welcome back and thanks for joining us. If you're new to our channel, please hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you'll be notified of each new video. In the last video, we completed the single bed bench frames. In this video, we're securing the furring strips to the van. Although we're screwing them in, we're not screwing them directly into the van as most people do. Stay tuned to see how we went about it. Hey guys, this is Dory, and I'm Mena. We travel with our lovely dog Fiona to help you discover the most beautiful spots and to share with you what it's like to live as a nomad. So subscribe and welcome to our channel. The tools used for this project were a jigsaw, circular saw, and drill. In terms of the hardware, we used cross nuts, screws, and hanger bolts. And of course, who could forget the Baltic birch plywood?
So we decided to use cross nuts to secure our furring strips. The Ford Transit, they already have a lot of pre-existing holes, and it was very easy to install cross nuts into them. So if you haven't seen that video, we'll put a link down below. In that video, you'll find more details about the installation of cross nuts. So we're not professionals, we're learning as we go, and we're following far right suggestions. The purpose of these videos, of course, is to help you understand, also to learn from our mistakes. We're very new at this, and if we're able to do it, so can you. Most of our furring strips are 3/8 Baltic birch plywood. The ones in the ceiling are 1/2 inch birch plywood. They are 4-inch wide and are about 2 feet away from each other.
Now we're just trying to size them. It looks like the furring strips, they won't be all the same size. They are 4 inches wide, but the length it's gonna vary, right? So
4 inches by 3/8.
and we're gauging where we're gonna put the furring strips according to our furniture. So if you guys recall, we did put. We still have the lines, the painter strip for the furniture. So now we're aligning the furring strips with that.
So now we're gonna put some furring strips on the wall so we could attach our aluminum bench frame, our aluminum frame. And what we're doing is, for the furring strips, we're using the cross nuts, right? Putting these anchor bolts, right? And then we take the furring strip, we put it against it, so we get a nice mark on the furring strip, if it makes sense. Then we make a little hole, and yeah, we keep going. So you see, we mark them like that.
So initially, the mark is going to be on this side because that's how we mark it. But the part that we're going to attach is going to be on the opposite side. So we use the drill to make a little point that goes through, so I know exactly where they're going to be on the opposite side. And I'm using this bit, which is that size, so 1/2 inch, I guess. Anyway, it gives me this nice groove, and these are the bolts we're going to use to attach the furring strip to the van. So it should fit nice and flush. So I hope this makes sense, because it makes sense to me.
Don't obsess in having straight lines. All these furring strips are going to be hidden by the wall panel or the ceiling panel. Of course, aim for perfection, but don't waste too much time trying to have a straight line. Trust me, wasted time adds up at the end of your build. One thing I want to mention is that when you're attaching the cross nuts to the van, not all of them gonna come out perfect. Some of them will be a little crooked. This will make your job a little bit harder when you're attaching the furring strips to the van. So my suggestion is, when you're attaching them, don't screw them all the way down right away. So if you have 3 bolts that you need to attach to the van, attach the first one. As soon as you notice it's making contact, move on to the second one and to the third one, and slowly tie up everything together. This will make your job much easier, but a little bit longer.
So we're really happy with the furring strips, how they turned out so far. This is 3/8 of an inch by 4 inches, and they're sturdy.
If you're gonna prepare a bunch at a time, make sure you are properly marking them. Every single hole is different. It will be a puzzle later on trying to figure it out where they go. In our case, we went one by one. I think this covers pretty much the wall furring strips. Now, let's talk about the ceiling. The ceiling, we're using 1/2 inch birch plywood. The issue is you have a nice little curve. After a few failed attempts of trying to secure the furring strip on the ceiling, we were unable to connect the edges of the screw to the cross nut. We decided to take a break. We had an hard time flexing the plywood so the edges would connect. By purchasing a longer screw, it was easier to connect. As soon as all the connections were made, you have 2 choices. Wait a little bit so the wood takes a little bit of shape. The following day, you could continue screwing your furring strips all the way in. In our case, we just waited a few hours, and by the end of the day, Mana finished the job. Also, I'd like to give you another pointer. When you're marking your furring strip with the hanging bolts, if you missed a point, don't just redo it. Put some painter's tape on the holes that you did, so when you redo it again, it doesn't come out with multiple holes and then you forget which one is good. Okay, we finished the furring strips on the ceiling, and let me tell you, my first piece of advice for this is get the proper tool for your cross nuts. Not having the proper tool, you have to do it by hand. 3 times longer, right? It will take you anywhere between 6 minutes to 10 minutes to install a cross nut. We have about 115 cross nuts in this van. And as the day goes by, your arm gets tired. So your cross nuts are, the job won't be done properly. Sometimes they're going to be aligned a little bit off and so on. So you might think it's good, you're happy with it, they're solid, yeah, because it's a cross nut. As you tighten them, they'll squeeze. When it's time to put your furring strips, let me tell you, it's gonna be hell. So luckily we didn't have that much of an issue. The only issue we had was with this cross nut over here. It was spinning, so I had to remove it, and I had the same issue over here. I had to remove it because it was spinning, so it makes it complicated after. So even though if you remove everything and your bolt is screwed in but your cross nut is spinning, it's so hard to remove it. Luckily, with a screwdriver holding the cross nut and unscrewing from here, I was able to remove it completely and fix the issue. Was just going back to it and tightening the cross nut back. Fee, at your age, you're not supposed to be jumping in the van like this. She has hip problems, my little girl. So besides that, yeah, everything was good. The other thing I would suggest, measure the bolts that you need. We got longer ones and shorter ones. The longer ones for the cross nuts on the sides, because sometimes honestly you don't have that bend that you need, and having the longer bolts helps you a lot. So over here we use smaller ones. So yeah, anyway, if you guys have questions, leave them down below. We'll try to answer the best we can. Alright guys, so that's gonna be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Always feel free to leave your comments down below. Please share it with someone who might need it, and see you on the next video. But don't forget to subscribe.